Good morning, day 332, cooking down the refrigerator, freezer, and working pantry meals. Well, today it's 32 degrees. We're going to be in the 20s and 30s the next few days, and then it's going back into the 40s and 30s. So we didn't get any snow, just a dusting a couple times, but it didn't even really stick on the ground, so I'm happy about that. And today is another let's see what we're going to do today day. I really need to call the washer repairman. I've been putting it off. I'm sure that repair will be a couple $100, and this time of the year is not a real great time to have to deal with repairs. So I've been thinking about Christmas and Christmas shopping and what the heck to do. I've been kind of downsizing Christmas gifts every year. I used to give my kids and grandkids tons of gifts when I worked, but I can't do it anymore. It just, the money is not there. And I know a lot of you are in the same position as I am. The money is just really, really, really tight. Because life goes on. Repairs need to be made. Food needs to be bought. And, even if you retired, let's say 5-10 years ago, you may have had enough money to get by and do what it is you needed to do. And now, that same income hardly covers the bills. So even if you might live in a nice house, you might drive a nice car, that doesn't matter. That was probably from times where you had the money. So I just wanted to encourage people, if they need the help, to go to the food bank. And don't let people judge you just because you live in a decent house and you don't live in a shack and your car isn't falling apart. Things change, times change, and when you're on a fixed income, that money just doesn't stretch any further than what it really was intended to do. So unless you want to go back to work when you're in your golden years or older years, we have to make that money stretch. So if you need the help, seek help. There are many food banks out there, churches, food pantries. If you can't get there, if you don't drive, try hooking up with a friend who does, and or family members, and go use the food bank. And don't let people shame you that you shouldn't be using it. So that's all that I wanted to say about that. We'll take a look in my refrigerator, and if you had the foresight to stock up on food, use your food stash, but don't deplete it. Don't use up all your food, because I can't see this inflation coming to a halt anytime soon. It's going to be at least another 2 years, if not longer, because it's going to take time to straighten up this mess that was created. All right, well, that wasn't a very cheerful message this morning, was it? I apologize. But sometimes you just have to deal with the tough things. So anyway, we're going to take a look in the refrigerator in a little bit and see what's still in there for brunch and for dinner. All right, I'm going to enjoy my coffee, and I'll be back in a little bit and we'll take a look. Okay, let's see what's in the fridge this morning. I know I have leftovers in there. So, all right, hasn't changed much from yesterday. I've been drinking some of my water, but still not as much as I should. This is my not pork, from yesterday. It's been in the fridge now, overnight. So I'm going to freeze some of that, so that'll be going into the freezer. But I did use up about a block of tofu and a jar of jelly I used up, so I still have these dry bagels. I wonder if I could make like a French toast kind of thing out of those. That would be different. Well, we'll see. I still have lots of eggs, and my daughter told me she has more eggs for me, so yay! I'm so excited about that. I can start eating eggs and not saving them because they're so expensive. Well, anyway, I want to finish this yogurt. That might be a little bit too much to finish in one day because I have another jar back there that I want to eat down. And I am going to put my freezer jam in there again because it's been really tasting good. I still have these black beans. I still have a tiny bit of potatoes here. Maybe I'll fry those up with an egg for breakfast. Just a little bit. And I was going to have those with sauerkraut, but the plan has changed. The sauerkraut I'm going to save for New Year's. But in here I have a lot of rice yet. So the beans and rice, I'm going to make some kind of a stir fry for dinner. I still have all these mushrooms. I have cabbage and carrots and cucumbers, lots of greens yet. Still have some parsley in here. So I'm going to make a veggie stir fry, I think, for dinner. Unless I change my mind again, you never know. Alright, let's see down here. I still have two cuties, and they're getting pretty soft. This one is better. So I'm going to have this cutie before it goes bad. And I think I'll have an egg with the mashed potatoes. That should fill me up. I still have one egg from my daughter here, the blue one. So I'll be filling this up in the next day or two. And then I have store-bought eggs that I bought at Aldi's. They were not that expensive. They were $2 and something. So lots of eggs. So I'm happy about that. I can bake things and make things. And so, okay. I'm thinking about maybe making some kind of a savory casserole out of these bagels. I don't know. Because they were really dry when I got them from the food bank. They weren't the best. So, okay. Those are some of the plans I have, and we'll see what I come up with when it's time for breakfast and dinner. So I will meet you at the stove. Okay, so here's my breakfast this morning. I have my mashed potatoes with 2 runny eggs on top, one of those little sweetie cutie things, and grapes, and my berry yogurt, all homemade. All right, you can eat well even if you don't have a lot of money. Okay, well, I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll see what else is going on. Cheers. Finishing up my morning coffee here. So I had the mashed potatoes with the two over medium eggs on top. And oh my gosh, I think that's one of my favorite breakfasts now. That was so good and comforting and satisfying. It was delicious. So if you have mashed potatoes that are left over, heat them up, fry yourself up a couple of eggs. There's breakfast. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit this morning about the Facebook group that I created. And yes, it's still perfectly legit. I have two Facebook accounts. One is my personal, and the other one is my group, Ellen's Abundant Life Facebook account. I really haven't had the time to be on Facebook with YouTube and trying to get ready for the holidays. I just haven't been on Facebook at all for several days. I used to go check everything once a day, but I'm finding it more and more difficult to do that. So, but I will, continue with the group. So feel free to talk to each other, give each other ideas, interact with each other. That's what I created the group for. It wasn't just so that you and I could communicate, but that you could communicate with each other as well. So that's the status on the Facebook group. Another thing I wanted to talk about, now yesterday I made those pork-like cutlets, and they turned out real well. The only difference that I would do is I would not use the mesquite cooking oil spray. I think it's really heavy on the smoke flavor, which is nice for a barbecue. But I think what I am going to do with some of them is put a barbecue sauce on them and eat them on a roll like a McRib sandwich. They would be perfect for that. And I can cut them up in strips, put them in a stir fry. I can do lots of things with them. Or just bread them, put breading on them and eat them that way. So I'm looking forward to eating those. But like I said, that would be the only difference if I make them again that I would change. I would just fry them up in some, or bake them up in just some either coconut oil coating or just plain old spray oil. So for Thanksgiving, we were all going to go to my daughter's house, but she sent me a text this morning and asked me if I could host Thanksgiving, which is perfectly fine with me. But now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to have for Thanksgiving dinner, because I really, really do not want to buy a turkey. For me, it's an ethical issue. I know most of you that are my viewers do eat meat, and that's perfectly fine with me. No judgment here. Which leads me into a topic I'd like to talk just briefly about today, and that's judging other people. I know when I went plant-based and I stopped eating meat, I was married at the time, and my ex-husband, he just did not like the fact at all that I was not eating meat. He's a big meat eater. Fine, I don't care, eat your meat. But what would happen would be if we would go out to eat or anything like that, I would get this, oh, look at this, isn't this meat delicious? Look at here, have a bite. Oh, you should eat this, blah, blah. And it was so unattractive to me that somebody would do that. So please, if you have members of your family or friends that choose not to eat meat, don't do that. That is just totally wrong. What difference does it make what people put in their mouth? It's not like I'm taking something out of their mouth and forbidding them to eat it, so judging people by what they eat, that doesn't even make sense to me. It's not like I would say, oh, I'm not going out to dinner with you because you order a big old slab of meat. I don't care. Eat what you want. It's your stomach, it's your taste. I don't care. But shaming people for having a different lifestyle than you have is just not acceptable. And I've even noticed it on some of the YouTube channels. Now there's this stigma where people that are vegan or vegetarian, and you got the whole green deal going on and all that stuff, where they're trying to convert people over to not eating meat because of the planet and blah blah. Well, whatever, but I don't not eat meat because of that. And we all have different reasons for eating what we eat. Some people don't like chicken. Some people don't like fish. Some people don't like pasta, whatever, or they don't eat potatoes or, whatever. But the stigma of judging people by what they eat is just really wrong. We need to stop trying to make people fit into a narrative that fits our lifestyle or our views. We can all have different views. We can discuss it. We don't have to go to the streets and riot, just because you don't think the way I think. We can discuss it, and then we can agree to disagree. What is the big deal? Why do people always have to cram their ideas and thoughts down other people's throats? It's just wrong. So anyway, I don't want to go too far off on that tangent, but I did want to talk a little bit about judging. And like I said earlier when I was making coffee, another thing that people tend to judge is people that go to a food bank. Seriously, what do you care who goes to the food bank? If that food isn't distributed, it's going to go to waste. It'll go in the dumps, it'll go into the garbage, and I think more people should go to the food bank. Even if they're not poverty level, that food can be used. But, there's that stigma. Oh, you went to the food bank. Yeah, so? So don't let anybody shame you into not doing that, whether it's family or friends or acquaintances or whoever it is. People think, well, you're taking the food away from poor people. I have yet to see a food bank that has run out of food. There's always plenty to go around. I know if you watch Homestead Tessie, she used to go to the food bank all the time. And the place where she went, whatever food was not distributed to the community, she would take it home and she would cook it up and can it up and put it to use. I personally would rather see that than have it end up in the dump. And I wish more restaurants and grocery stores and grocery outlets would donate their food. Now I've talked about it before, I found the Flash Food app that's been working great for me because I can get a whole little box of fruits, vegetables, whatever, for $5. That's a great deal. And it's food that I use that a box lasts me a good couple weeks, and it costs me $5. So I've been doing that. I probably will not return to the food bank that I went to, for the simple reason that they just didn't distribute the kind of food that I eat. There was no fresh vegetables or fruits or anything like that. It was mainly meats and breads and some prepared foods. It really was mostly foods that I personally don't choose to eat. So I did distribute it to my family because they can use it too. But don't think you're taking food out of somebody else's mouth. You're not. There is so much food in this country, even worldwide, that is just thrown away. It's just criminal. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about judgy people, and don't be judgy. You know, stick to your own beliefs as much as you want, but keep an open mind. I find people that are judgy are very closed-minded with a lot of issues and things. Keeping an open mind is much more healthy for the judge and fruit fly and the one being judged. So okay, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. The Facebook group, judging other people, the food bank. Yep, that's it. All right, well, I will be back later with what I'm making for dinner. Okay, I'm going to make a little stir fry here. I have these veggies. There's a little bit of coleslaw mix. There's some mushrooms, onions, sweet onions, carrots, parsley, celery, just whatever I had in the fridge. So I'm going to just stir fry this, and I want to make like a peanut kind of sauce. So this morning I've been busy, or this afternoon, it's already 3 o'clock. I've been busy looking through my food in the fridge and seeing what needs to be cooked up. So I already made a little tiny bit of coleslaw because I want to make a like a McChicken, not McChicken, like a McRib sandwich out of some of the seitan pork, and I want to put some of the coleslaw on there. So I made that, and I cooked a little bit of the coleslaw mix in butter, just a little bit, enough for one serving. And I want to make that with some noodles, so I'll have noodles and eggs. So I'm trying to cook ahead for the meals this week. And just by looking through what I have in the fridge, that's what I'm doing. Alright, so here I'm just going to let this cook. Some of the seasonings I'm going to use, I still have some of this Asia seasoning, so I'm going to put some of that on. And that background noise is my little robot vacuum. So he's busy doing the floor while I cook. Alright, then I'm going to put a little seasoning for all the things. This was from Imperfect Foods, and when I got that quite a while ago, I ordered a couple of these because it is tasty and I do like it. So I'm going to put that on. I found the Imperfect Foods was a little expensive. They sent you nice things, but it got too expensive for me. And then I have this pork flavored broth because I'm probably going to cut up one of my seitan pieces, and so I want this to have a bit of a pork flavor. So I can always add more. That was like half a teaspoon, because I'm not sure how salty all of this is. So I probably won't need any additional salt, but I am going to put some pepper on here. And I'm going to eat this with noodles instead of with rice. So I was watching a YouTube channel, and the lady on there was making bread with cooked rice and flour. So I had leftover rice, and I really didn't feel like eating with the veggies. I wanted pasta. So I'm trying it out, and if it's successful, I'll share it with you, and if not, I'll show it to you anyway. And we'll see how that works out. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, like I always say. Experiment with your cooking. Have fun with it. That way it won't be drudgery when you have to make food. Alright, I'm going to be back when this is cooked up and make my sauce. And I'm also going to add some soy sauce. And when this cooks up a little bit, I'm going to add some more of this chopped up garlic from Kirkland. This was like a forever thing of garlic. Alright, I will be back. My seitan in here. So this is all done cooking, and now I'm going to make the sauce. And I have this mixed nut butter that I have had forever. And I really didn't like it too much. I mean, it was okay, but it has seeds in it too. So I'm going to try and make a peanut sauce out of it, but instead of a peanut sauce, I'll just make it a mixed butter sauce, peanut butter sauce. So I think that'll work out okay. It's a natural peanut butter, and I really don't care for those too much. So I'm going to put a good blob of it in here. Okay, that should be enough. I don't know, it's about a quarter of a cup, a little more. And I'm going to warm this up a little bit because it's very stiff. So I'm just going to blitz it in the microwave for 30 or 40 seconds. So I'll be right back. Okay, that softened it up a little bit, but not enough. So I'm going to add some soy sauce now. A couple tablespoons. And then I'm going to put it back in the microwave. Okay, well, I'm just winging this peanut sauce. And this peanut butter is still extremely thick. So I'm going to add a little water. I added a couple of tablespoons of soy sauce. So I'm going to add a little bit of water to this. Just so I can mix it up. And then I'm going to also add some of this ginger and garlic seasoning. I've had that for quite a while. I don't want too much. About half a teaspoon. And then I'm also going to add some sugar, maybe a couple tablespoons. I'll start off with 1 tablespoon and see how it tastes. All right, I'm just going to mix this up and see how it tastes and see if it needs more water. And that very weird bread is actually starting to rise. It's like there's so many interesting recipes out there. It's really very entertaining, the things that you can make out of your food scraps. And that's actually the goal of my channel. It's not so much to teach you, okay, you put in this many teaspoons of this and this many teaspoons of that. It's it's more to show you how you can use up odd ingredients and make them into something very good and edible. So that's really the goal that I have for this channel. And hopefully you find it useful. Okay, I'm going to mix this up a little bit and tweak it and see if it's any good. It might be good, it might be terrible, I don't know, but I'll be back. Okay, well this sauce calls for some crushed red pepper flakes. If you've been with me for a while, you know I don't like a lot of heat. So I'm just going to add not even a quarter teaspoon. So I tasted this and it's up to my satisfaction. And these lumps in here, of course, are the seeds, and it's more like a chunky butter rather than smooth. And I know peanut sauce, you use smooth peanut butter, but I really want to use up that jar of peanut butter. And since I'm cooking down the working pantry, which is where that lives, I just want to use this. So, okay, I need to cook some pasta. I'm going to cook up the rest of this brown rice penne. So I think that'll go well since this is a stir fry. And I'll be back when I put it all together. I am going to add not all this peanut sauce because I think that's a little bit much. I'll save some for maybe another dish. But I am going to put some of the peanut sauce in here now so that it can marinate in that while I cook the pasta. All right. So I'll be back in a little bit. Oh, this looks like it's going to take more than I thought. Okay, well, I'll put more in. I don't want it swimming in it, but this looks like it'll be fine. And with the pasta, I may just end up using all of it. Okay, I will be back in a little bit with my dinner. So I just wanted to say, when I tried going gluten-free, probably a couple years ago, I bought some of this brown rice pasta, which I never used because I've tried other ones that I didn't like at all. So it's been sitting in my pantry for a long time. And so I thought, well, I'm going to use it up. If I don't like it, I'll feed it to the composter. Now, you don't put pasta in the compost. But anyway, it's really good. So if you're gluten-free, it's Tinkyada Pasta Joy Ready is what it's called. And I actually like it. So I think I have another one, a different shaped pasta. But I just wanted to let you know that. All right, I tasted my peanut sauce with my stir fry, and I did a little more research on what is in peanut sauce because it's not something I usually make. And a lot of the recipes said lime juice. So I had fresh squeezed lime that I had gotten from a Flash food box probably, I don't know, a couple months ago, and it was still good. So I finished that up too. So there we go, using up what I have and making something delicious. Well, my dinner is done, and I cooked extra pasta because I have the cabbage, so I want to make a meal of cabbage and noodles. And this is enough for 2 meals, so that will be 3 meals. And normally you would make this with a more like udon noodles or something along those lines. But I had the rice noodles and I thought, well, I think those will go well. So let me see, let me give this a taste and see if we did a winner or a loser here. Okay. So I have a piece of seitan in there too, and a mushroom. So let me give it a taste. That's really tasty. Very, very flavorful. And even though the seitan was smoky, that flavor doesn't really come through in this. It's very nice. So I'm using up the mushrooms I got in my Flash Food Markdown. I used up the lime juice. I'm using the pork flavored seitan. Used up some of my carrots that I had gotten from my mom. The celery that I got quite a while ago. And I still have a little bit of that left. I still have plenty of carrots left. I have salad left. So I'm going to plate this up because it's almost 5 o'clock, and so I think I will eat dinner, and then I'll pack this up. And like I said, these noodles are really good. I put some butter on here so that when I fry them up with the cabbage, they'll already have a little butter on it and they won't be stuck in a big clump. All right, I'm going to plate this up, and before I go, I'm letting my very odd bread cool off. And they said to let it cool completely. Let me give you a little closer look. So it looks like bread, but it's still hot. And if they say let your bread cool off, it's because it's still cooking in there. Otherwise, you could end up with soggy bread. So I'm going to let it cool off and then see, but this is what I made with my leftover rice that I had in the fridge. I love experiments. So I'll show you this before my very weird bread is cooled now, and we'll see. I don't know. I don't hold up much hope, but we'll see. All right, here goes. Well, That looks pretty darn good. I'm amazed. All right, let's taste it. Put a little butter on. Now, this was made with the rice that I had seasoned with my pico de gallo. Yeah, this is crazy. All right, here goes. Tastes like bread. It's actually really flavorful. That's crazy. You can see the little flecks of tomato. That's actually good bread. Who would have thought? All right. If I remember, I have to look up the where I got the recipe, or I'll just write it down and show it to you tomorrow. Or maybe I'll show it to you today. Okay, here's the recipe. I'm just amazed that it turned out. So if you have leftover rice, you can make bread. Okay, I wish I could remember the name of the channel. Well, anyway, it's not my invention, but here it is. All right, that's all I have for you today. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you. And I'll see you next time in Ellen's Weird Kitchen. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. Thanks for watching.